Ladies and gentlemen, life was never meant to be cluttered with what destroys us. Too many of us are carrying excess baggage, weights that were never meant to be part of our journey. The truth is this: sometimes your greatest breakthrough is not found in adding something new, but in removing what no longer serves your destiny. If you want to rise higher, you must be willing to cut off what is holding you down. So today, we will talk about 10 things you must boldly delete from your life if you truly want to live free, focused, and fulfilled. Delete the fear that paralyzes your destiny, because fear is the silent killer of dreams, the unseen prison that locks away potential, and the invisible wall that keeps you from stepping into your true purpose. Fear whispers, lies. It tells you that you are not enough, that you don't have what it takes, that you will fail before you even begin. But hear me, fear is nothing more than false evidence appearing real, a shadow that grows larger only when you keep feeding it. If you allow fear to take root in your mind, it will choke the life out of every vision God has placed inside you. Think about it. How many people go to the grave never writing that book, never starting that business, never walking in their calling, simply because they were afraid of what people would say, afraid of rejection, afraid of making mistakes? But the truth is, fear doesn't stop death, fear stops life. And until you delete it from your heart, you will always live beneath your true potential. You were not created to be a slave to fear. You were created to walk in boldness, to walk in courage, to step out even when the ground beneath your feet feels shaky. Courage does not mean the absence of fear. It means moving forward in spite of it. The lion is not called the king of the jungle because he is the biggest or the strongest, but because he carries the spirit of boldness. And the same boldness must rise up in you, because the destiny that waits for you on the other side of fear is greater than the comfort of staying where you are. Fear will always disguise itself as wisdom, but don't be fooled. Some of the people you call careful are really just afraid. Some of the opportunities you've let pass, you called them not the right time. But deep down, it was fear holding you back. Fear always sounds reasonable, but it is never faithful. If you want to live fully, if you want to see the greatness inside you manifest, you must delete fear, confront it, and replace it with faith. So the question is this: what are you still afraid of? What vision is lying dormant because of the giant cold fear? What dreams have you buried in the graveyard of hesitation? It is time to break free, to declare boldly that you will not allow fear to dictate your decisions, your relationships, or your future. You were born for more, and fear has no authority to keep you small. And when you delete fear from your life, something powerful begins to happen. Your faith rises, your confidence is restored, your courage is ignited, and suddenly the impossible starts to look possible. But fear is not the only enemy you must face, because right after fear comes another silent thief, the thief called doubt. Delete the doubt that blocks your faith, because doubt is the greatest enemy of belief. Doubt will cause you to question what you already know is true. It will make you second guess your own vision. It will weaken your confidence, and it will shut the door to opportunities that were meant for you. Faith opens the door to possibility, but doubt closes it before you can even step through. Every time you entertain doubt, you are planting seeds of delay, and those seeds will keep you stuck in cycles of hesitation and frustration. Doubt is like rust on metal, slow and unseen, but over time it eats away at your strength until nothing is left. How many times have you felt ready to start something, ready to move forward, but then doubt whispered in your ear, "What if it doesn't work?" And instead of moving, you paused, you waited, you held back, and the moment passed you by. Doubt never shows up alone. It always comes with fear, insecurity, and confusion. If you give it room in your mind, it will build a stronghold that blocks the very blessings you are praying for. Faith and doubt cannot live in the same space. One must dominate the other. Faith says, yes, it's possible, but doubt says, it's too good to be true. Faith says, take the step, but doubt says, you're not ready. Faith says, your future is greater than your past, but doubt says, what if your past repeats itself? And the tragedy is this: most people choose to believe the voice of doubt instead of the voice of faith, and because of that, they never experience the life they were designed to live. You must make a choice every single day. Will you live by faith or will you live by doubt? You cannot do both. The moment you delete doubt, faith comes alive. And when faith comes alive, you begin to see doors open, ideas flow, opportunities appear, and courage becomes natural. Doubt kills your dreams before they are born, but faith gives them breath and power to manifest. That is why you must guard your heart and your mind against the poison of doubt. So I ask you, what is it that you are doubting right now? Are you doubting your ability to succeed? Are you doubting that you can rise from where you are? Are you doubting that you are good enough, worthy enough, strong enough? Remember this: doubt does not come from truth, it comes from deception. The moment you expose doubt for what it really is, you will see that it has no authority over your destiny. And when doubt is deleted, faith begins to build, strength begins to rise, and clarity begins to shine. You start moving with assurance, not guessing, not hesitating, but walking boldly in the direction of your vision. But after doubt is gone, there is still another enemy that tries to sneak in and hold you back: the excuses that limit your growth. Delete the excuses that limit your growth, because excuses are nothing more than lies we tell ourselves to stay comfortable. Excuses sound reasonable, they sound intelligent, they even sound protective, but in reality they are prisons made out of words. Every excuse you hold on to becomes a chain that ties you to mediocrity. Excuses are the language of the small-minded, the weak-willed, and the uncommitted. And as long as you keep making them, you will never see progress in your life. Think about it. How many times have you said, I don't have enough time, when the truth is you wasted hours on things that had no value? How many times have you said, I don't have the resources, when in fact you never used what was already in your hand? How many times have you said, it's not the right season, when the real issue is that fear and laziness were speaking louder than your purpose? Excuses are dangerous because they disguise themselves as valid reasons, but all they do is rob you of opportunities that will never return again. Growth requires responsibility. Growth requires accountability. Growth requires that you stop blaming the government, stop blaming your parents, stop blaming your environment, and stop blaming circumstances. Excuses shift the blame outward, but growth always looks inward. The person who succeeds is not the one with the perfect background. It is the one who refuses to give excuses any place in their life. History has proven this over and over again. Men and women who had every reason to fail, every reason to give up, but instead of making excuses, they made progress. Excuses will always give you permission to quit. Excuses will always comfort you in your weakness, but never challenge you to rise higher. And the more excuses you create, the further away your destiny drifts. That is why you must delete them, because excuses and growth cannot coexist. The moment you stop making excuses, you start taking control. And when you take control, you start seeing results. So I ask you, what excuses have you been making? Have you been saying you're too young or too old? Have you been saying you don't have enough money or enough support? Have you been telling yourself that the opportunity has passed you by? Listen carefully. As long as you can breathe, as long as you can think, as long as you can move, you have no excuse not to pursue the life you were born to live. Delete the excuses, because your destiny will not adjust to your reasons. Excuses will not build your vision. They will only bury it. And once you silence them, growth begins, doors open, and progress becomes possible. But after excuses are gone, there is still another voice you must confront. The wrong voices shaping your future. Delete the wrong voices shaping your future, because every voice you listen to becomes a seed planted in your heart. Words are powerful. They can build you up, or they can tear you down. They can guide you forward, or they can keep you bound in the past. The danger is this: you don't always recognize when the wrong voices are shaping your decisions, your mindset, and your destiny. Sometimes it's not your enemies you should be most careful of. It's the people closest to you who speak doubt, fear, and limitation into your life. The truth is, your future is too valuable to be shaped by the wrong counsel. If you keep listening to negative voices, critical voices, small-minded voices, you will eventually start to think small, dream small, and live small. Wrong voices will always tell you why you can't, why you shouldn't, why you'll fail. They'll remind you of your mistakes, magnify your weaknesses, and blind you to your potential. And if you give them power, you will start living in the box they built for you instead of the destiny that was designed for you. Ask yourself, whose voice has the loudest influence in your life? Is it the voice of a friend who mocks your vision? Is it the voice of a family member who doesn't see your potential? Is it the voice of culture telling you to settle for less? Or is it the voice of wisdom, the voice of faith, the voice of truth pulling you toward greatness? You cannot afford to let the wrong voices guide your future, because what you consistently hear, you will eventually believe. And what you believe, you will become. Every great destiny requires the discipline of selective hearing. You must know when to listen and when to shut the door. You must surround yourself with voices that inspire, voices that challenge, voices that push you to grow, because your environment is shaping your future more than you realize. Delete the wrong voices, and suddenly the noise fades, the confusion clears, and clarity begins to come alive. Think about it. How many dreams have been aborted because someone said, "That's impossible"? How many visions have died because someone said, "You're not qualified"? How many lives have stayed stuck because people chose to listen to those who saw them only as they were, instead of who they could become? Don't let the wrong voices define you, because their perception is not your reality. Delete them, silence them, separate from them, and watch your confidence return, your focus sharpen, your spirit rise. Because your future is far too great to be decided by the wrong opinions. But once you remove the wrong voices, you must face another silent enemy, one that doesn't come from people, but grows inside your own heart. The bitterness that corrupts your life. Delete the bitterness that corrupts your heart, because bitterness is like poison you drink, expecting someone else to die. It doesn't harm the person who hurt you as much as it destroys you from the inside out. Bitterness clouds your vision. It hardens your heart. It steals your peace, and it robs you of joy. The dangerous thing about bitterness is that it doesn't always show up loudly. It grows quietly, slowly, eating away at your spirit until it contaminates everything around you. Think about it. How many people live trapped in the past, replaying old wounds, rehearsing old betrayals, holding on to grudges that should have been released long ago? They smile on the outside, but inside they are chained to memories that keep them bitter, angry, resentful. And here is the truth. Bitterness is never satisfied. It will not stop with one relationship. It spreads into every area of your life. You become suspicious of everyone, disconnected from opportunities, even blind to the blessings already around you. Bitterness is heavy, and it will keep you from rising into the future you were designed for. You cannot walk into tomorrow still carrying the pain of yesterday. Yes, you were wronged. Yes, they hurt you. Yes, they betrayed you. But hear this, your healing will never come from holding on to bitterness. Your healing comes from letting it go. Forgiveness is not about setting them free, it's about setting yourself free. When you forgive, you are not saying that what they did was right. You are saying that their actions will no longer control your life. Bitterness is a thief, and it robs you silently. It robs you of peace of mind. It robs you of healthy relationships. It robs you of the energy to pursue your purpose. That is why you must delete it before it corrupts everything inside of you. You cannot afford to let bitterness have a place in your heart, because a bitter heart cannot dream big. A bitter heart cannot love deeply. A bitter heart cannot grow fully. So I ask you, who are you still holding in your heart? Whose face still stirs anger every time you remember them? What wound have you allowed to define your identity? Let me tell you, the longer you hold on to it, the more it holds on to you. Release it, forgive, and step into the freedom that was always yours. Delete bitterness, because your future is too precious to waste in chains. The moment you let go, peace returns, joy flows, and vision becomes clear again. But after bitterness is gone, there is still another enemy standing in the shadows, one that robs you of the most valuable resource you possess, the distractions that waste your time. Delete the distractions that waste your time, because time is life. Whatever steals your time is stealing your destiny. You can lose money and make it back. You can lose possessions and regain them. But once time is gone, it is gone forever. Distractions are the silent killers of purpose, the small thieves that rob you not in one big moment, but little by little, day after day. They may not seem dangerous at first, but they accumulate, and before you realize it, years have passed, and your vision is still waiting to be fulfilled. Think about it. How many hours are wasted scrolling endlessly, watching what everyone else is doing while your own assignment is left undone? How many times have you sat down to focus, but one distraction after another stole your attention until nothing meaningful was accomplished? Distractions don't always come dressed as sin. Sometimes they come disguised as entertainment, gossip, meaningless conversations, or unnecessary business. They make you feel active, but in reality, they keep you unproductive. Time is the currency of destiny, and every distraction is a false purchase. When you give in to distraction, you are spending your future on something that will never bring a return. That is why successful people are disciplined about their focus, because they understand that every moment counts. If you want to rise, if you want to achieve greatness, you must learn to delete the distractions that do not serve your vision. Ask yourself, what is pulling your attention away from what truly matters? Who is constantly interrupting your focus with meaningless drama? What habits are consuming hours you could be investing into your growth? If you want to change your life, you must first change how you spend your time. Because time is not just passing, time is proving what you value most. And if distractions are taking the majority of your hours, then they are also taking the majority of your life. Distractions are dangerous because they give you the illusion of progress. You feel busy, but you are not moving. You feel occupied, but you are not advancing. And then when you look back, you wonder, where did the time go? Delete the distractions now, and you will find clarity, productivity, and acceleration in your purpose. So I ask you, how much more of your life will you allow distractions to consume? How many more years will you waste on things that don't matter? How much longer will you let your destiny be delayed by what does not deserve your attention? The moment you silence distractions, your time becomes valuable again, your focus sharpens, and your vision expands. But once the distractions are gone, you must confront another weight: the relationships that drain your purpose. Delete the relationships that drain your purpose, because not every person in your life is assigned to your destiny. Some people are with you only for a season. Some are with you only for convenience, and some are with you only to pull from you without ever pouring back into you. The truth is, relationships are powerful. They can lift you or limit you, push you forward or pull you backward, build your vision or break it apart. And if you are not careful, the wrong relationships will drain your energy, steal your focus, and suffocate your purpose. Think about it. How many times have you felt stuck, not because of your own weakness, but because of the people you kept around you? How many times did you hesitate to rise because you were afraid of leaving someone behind? Some relationships are like weights tied to your feet. You keep trying to fly, but you can't because they keep you grounded. They don't celebrate your growth, they don't encourage your dreams, and they don't believe in your potential. Instead, they drain your strength, discourage your efforts, and distract you from your calling. The greatest tragedy is not losing people. The greatest tragedy is keeping people who were never meant to walk with you into your future. Purpose requires pruning. If you want to go higher, you must be willing to cut off what is pulling you lower. This doesn't mean you hate them. It doesn't mean you wish them harm. It simply means you value your destiny too much to sacrifice it for the sake of comfort. Relationships should be mutual. They should give life. They should add value. If all they do is drain you, then they are not aligned with where you are going. Ask yourself, who in your life is sharpening you and who is dulling you? Who is inspiring your vision and who is suffocating it? Who is walking with you in faith and who is feeding your doubt? You must have the courage to evaluate your circle, because the voices closest to you will determine how far you rise. Some people cannot handle your light, and because they cannot handle it, they will always try to dim it. Delete the relationships that drain your purpose, because your destiny is too valuable to be suffocated by wrong connections. The moment you release them, you will find strength again, focus again, and peace again. And here is the paradox. When you let go of the wrong people, the right people begin to show up. Those who encourage you, believe in you, and help you become the best version of yourself. But after you deal with draining relationships, there is still another battle waiting for you. One that doesn't come from others, but from within. Those habits that sabotage your progress. Delete the habits that sabotage your progress, because nothing delays destiny like the patterns you repeat daily. Habits are powerful. They are the silent architects of your life. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your habits. And the truth is, while good habits create growth, bad habits guarantee stagnation. Some of us are not stuck because of lack of opportunity, but because of the routines we refuse to change. Think about it. How many times have you promised yourself to wake up early, to focus on your goals, to manage your time better, yet you keep falling back into the same cycle of procrastination? How many times have you said, tomorrow I'll start, but tomorrow never comes because the habit of delay has already built a home inside you? Habits are not just actions, they are systems. They are the tracks your life runs on. And if those tracks are broken, no matter how big your dream is, you will keep derailing before you reach your destination. Bad habits sabotage silently. They drain your energy, waste your time, weaken your discipline, and blur your vision. Small habits like oversleeping, overeating, overspending, or overindulging seem harmless in the moment, but over time, they steal years of progress. Every destiny is shaped by consistency, and your consistency is either working for you or working against you. That is why you must delete those habits that no longer serve your future. Ask yourself which habits are feeding your vision and which habits are starving it. Which habits are building your strength and which habits are breaking it. Which habits are helping you grow and which habits are keeping you small. You cannot pray for success while practicing habits that guarantee failure. Purpose requires discipline, and discipline is nothing more than replacing bad habits with the right ones consistently until they become your lifestyle. The danger of bad habits is that they often feel comfortable. They bring temporary pleasure, but long-term pain. They make you feel good in the moment, but they cost you greatly in the future. If you truly desire progress, you must learn to say no to your comfort and yes to your calling. Delete the habits that sabotage your progress, and you will see transformation faster than you ever imagined. Because here is the truth. You don't decide your future, you decide your habits, and your habits decide your future. And the moment you align them with your purpose, progress becomes natural, success becomes inevitable, and growth becomes unstoppable. But even after dealing with destructive habits, there is still another barrier standing tall, one that chains your mind, the mindsets that shrink your vision. Delete the mindsets that shrink your vision, because the greatest battles you will ever fight are not outside of you, but inside your own mind. Your thoughts create your reality, your beliefs shape your future, and your perspective determines your possibilities. If your mindset is small, your vision will always be limited. If your mindset is negative, your opportunities will always look impossible. And if your mindset is trapped in the past, your future will always feel unreachable. Think about it. How many people have all the talent, all the resources, all the connections, yet they remain stuck because their mindset tells them, you can't. They have convinced themselves that greatness is for others, but not for them. They settle for less, not because they lack ability, but because they lack belief. A shrinking mindset is more dangerous than failure because it convinces you not to even try. It kills your potential before it is even born. Your mind is the control center of your life. Whatever dominates your thinking will eventually dominate your living. If you keep repeating the lies that you are not smart enough, not good enough, not strong enough, then your life will bend in the direction of those lies. But if you renew your mind with truth, if you elevate your thinking, if you stretch your belief, then suddenly the vision that looked impossible begins to expand. A big vision requires a big mindset because small thinking will never carry you into a great destiny. Ask yourself, what mindsets are shrinking your vision right now? Do you believe you can only go as far as your family went? Do you believe you are limited by your environment, by your past, or by your failures? Or do you believe that you were created with the capacity to rise higher, to think greater, to see beyond what is in front of you? If you want your vision to grow, your mindset must grow first. The danger of a small mindset is that it makes you comfortable with mediocrity. You convince yourself that this is enough, when deep down you know you were made for more. It blinds you to possibilities. It deafens you to opportunities. It paralyzes you in fear of the unknown. That is why you must delete every thought, every belief, every limitation in your mind that tells you to stay small, because your destiny was never meant to fit inside a shrinking box of fear and doubt. Delete the mindsets that shrink your vision, and you will begin to see life differently. You will begin to dream bigger, plan better, and pursue stronger. And when your mind is renewed, your vision will expand beyond what you thought possible. But even with a renewed mind, there is still one more enemy that must be faced, the most comfortable trap of all, the comfort that keeps you stagnant. Delete the comfort that keeps you stagnant, because comfort is the silent enemy of progress. Comfort whispers to you, stay here, you've done enough, you've gone far enough. But the truth is, it's not safety, it's a trap. Nothing great was ever birthed in the zone of comfort. Comfort keeps you from stretching, from risking, from stepping into the unknown where your destiny truly lies. It lulls you into a sleep where your vision fades, your passion cools, and your growth stops. Think about it. Every breakthrough in history came because someone refused to stay comfortable. Growth requires pressure. Success requires sacrifice. Advancement requires movement. But comfort tells you, don't move, don't change, don't try. Just stay where you are. And if you keep listening, you will look back one day and realize that years have passed, but nothing in your life has changed. Comfort is costly, and the price is your destiny. The danger of comfort is that it feels good in the moment. It feels safe, it feels secure, it feels familiar. But comfort never tells you about the opportunities you're missing, the potential you're wasting, the greatness you're leaving untouched. Comfort will never push you to discover who you truly are. It only convinces you to stay small, to stay hidden, to stay average. But hear this. You were never created to live average. You were created to live extraordinary. Ask yourself, what has comfort stolen from you? Did it keep you from writing the book? Did it keep you from starting the business? Did it keep you from walking away from a situation that no longer served you? Comfort will always present itself as wisdom, but in reality, it is fear in disguise. It tells you not to risk, not to move, not to stretch, but deep down, it is keeping you from the life you were born to live. Delete the comfort that keeps you stagnant, because your future depends on your ability to embrace the uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable, discipline is uncomfortable, change is uncomfortable, but they are necessary. The moment you step out of comfort, you step into courage. And the moment you step into courage, doors begin to open, strength begins to rise, and destiny begins to unfold. So hear me today. Do not settle where you are. Do not allow comfort to chain your potential. Do not trade your destiny for what feels safe. You were designed for movement, for growth, for impact, for greatness. And greatness never lives in the house of comfort. Your future is waiting. Your purpose is calling. Your season is now. Let go of fear, doubt, excuses, wrong voices, bitterness, distractions, draining relationships, destructive habits, small mindsets, and comfort. Because when you delete what doesn't belong, you make room for what was always meant to be yours. And the life you were created to live will finally begin.